Alrighty. Now I was telling you last time I had some things going on here. I had some holes somebody drilled out to pull a crease out. There's a good crease right here, I believe, from when the car was sideswiped, where it tore up the fender. They replaced the front door, and the back door has another crease in it. I already saw it from the inside, and it must have come along through here a little bit. Now I welded up my holes. I cut out the sections that I was going to replace, just to kind of see if I could get back there and straighten this out a little bit. Got this cut out, and it straightened out pretty good. I got inside the trunk and used some pry bars and little hammer action, and I got most of the crease out to where I think it's really going to be okay and have minimal body filler. I'll use Duraglass over top of the welded stuff, just like I will down here. I'll Duraglass this, you know, and then a little bit of maybe just polyester or polyester mixed with regular Bondo, and get it all done. So I spent about 2.5 hours, and I'll explain these here in just a couple seconds. I spent about 2.5 hours making a nice little patch panel. It was, I'll tell you what, it was kind of a bitch, because it's, you know, it's got all the angles going on and all that stuff, but I think it's gonna turn out pretty well. But what I'll do is just like so. Now what these are transmission magnets. You know, you guys already know, I use everything I have available to me. You know, and it's a nice little deal, because what I can do is get my spot weld right through here, and get one right down here. Then I'll pull this around, and I got a couple of plug welds I'll do to plant that thing where it belongs. And then I can take them off and finish my welding to alternate spots, you know, and keep the heat down best I can. And of course I'll make another panel for right here. It should be a little bit easier. But you know, whatever you got to use. Now what I've got going on the back side, it's 415 on the back side. Get that off there. 415 on the back side. The first thing I did was I maxed off this area and inside where my little spot welds are going to go, and I metal etch primed it after I cleaned the whole thing real good with rubbing alcohol, getting any kind of grease or grime off of it. So I metal etch primed it, then pulled the masking tape off, and I used zinc coating weld through primer just where it's going to be welded, and then 415 the inside of it. So when I weld it, it's going to burn some of this up on the inside. You know, I'll make sure it's not on my edges where I'm going to weld, but hopefully when I'm all done, I'll be able to maybe get on top of this sail panel. There's a hole here, and maybe spray some 415 inside there. I know I can spray some undercoating inside there, but I want to protect the inside of this. But I'll get this piece on, then I'll use me a little filler piece right here. I'm not real sure what I'm going to use yet. Maybe just a little piece of sheet metal to fill that in. And of course on the inside it'll be seam sealed really good. And it, you know, hell, it might turn out pretty nice. Who knows? Well, let me get right back with you here and I'll get that tacked in. Yep, there you go. There's a patch panel. Worked out pretty decent. It sucked in like right through here, pretty bad. I probably got a little too hot. What I did though, so I could, I was worried about rust proofing this on the back side once I was done, so I went ahead and drilled a hole right about there or so in the inner fender well, and I'll show you. I have, well, there we go. there's a plug. We got a bunch of these little body plugs, and I saved them. It's from, yeah, of course, from work doing some kind of recall. And I save them so that way I can go through the whole car and get in some areas that you just can't get to, and then put a little bit of RTV around it and stick it in the hole. Then I can go back and re-rust proof if I want or whatever. So I put one of the holes back there. Of course, use that hole to push this back out just a little bit, and you know, I'm going to Duraglass over top of this, and it'll turn out really nice, I think. My edge here, I folded this right around, turned out pretty well, you know, so that's not going to be too far from where it should be. I think it took me a couple hours just to make this piece. You know, another hour of welding and grinding and finding my little pinholes and all that stuff. So now this one I'm going to try a little something different, just to save me a little bit of time, since it's just got 1 or 2 bends in it. I've got the hole is right wrong through here, so I'm thinking I'm either going to mark it, or I might even just cut it with a razor blade right where it's supposed to be at. Then I have my lines, I'll slap it on a piece of sheet metal and cut it out, start working it in there and making this bend. I wish I had a little metal brake. I think it'd be pretty handy for stuff like this, but I hate to go buy one just to do 1 patch panel, or maybe 2. I don't know. Anyhow, I'll get that made up, and really all I'm doing to show you how I'm bending this stuff, if I can find it now. I don't know what the heck I did with it. Anyhow, really all I'm doing is using a piece of steel in my bench here, and clamping it in place, and then, you know, working the metal around and getting it all squared up, and put a little dolly behind it, and then flip it around and do it again. So that's all I'm doing. Just using whatever I got laying around to get the job done. So let me see if we can get a little bit farther this evening, and I'll get right back to you. Alrighty. Well, you'll be able to see where I've got my patch panels in. Got this one in. I've poured 15 behind everything, really super good. And when you do it right after you're welding it, and it's the, you know, and you ground it down, and the metal's still warm, I found that's a great time to be pour 15 behind stuff, because it thins it out, and it'll just go right into all the, you see where it oozes out through here, and there's a couple little pinholes I have, you know, and I could grind those out and re-weld them, but I really think this pour 15 has sealed it up so good. And of course I'll be doing some Duraglass action right on top of it. The metal's still a little bit warped right where I welded it, which I think it's just, you know, just a little bit low enough that, you know, Duraglass over top of it's going to take care of it. I'll Duraglass on top of this where my holes were that somebody drilled in it, and it'll work out fine. I think the next thing I'm going to tackle is that hole right there. You can see it right there. And this little rusty area down through here. We'll cut all that out. Fix this little area here, kind of all at the same time, and I think we'll be good. And then after that, I'll have to fix my hangers for the fender skirts. So they're supposed to be adjustable. I know they're not going to be, you know, adjustable anymore because they're so frozen up. Now this one has a hole in the back of the bracket, and it's also got a hole in the trunk where it's welded to the bottom of the trunk. So I'll make a new bracket, I'll make new adjusters for both sides, fix the hole in the trunk, just a little hole right where this is welded to, and fix all that up at the same time. So let me get a little bit done here and I'll get back with you. Alright, well, as usual, a little hole ends up being a big hole. See if I can get There we go. Now here's our plugs to get in, you know, rust proof inside your, clean out your rocker panels or whatever, and there's a big mouse nest in there. I used a little special tool here to get down in there and suck out that mouse nest, and you know, so this isn't real unexpected, but kind of what is this hole right here. See, there's a hole in the floorboard right here. Now I just fixed the bottom of this bracket not too long ago. Of course, I had a hard time getting 415 up in here. So heck with it. I'll 415 down inside here real good, and around here a little bit. Then I'm going to make a flat piece to fix the floor panel. Then I'll take a piece to come out here and go out this hole and match up with this. There's supposed to be a seam weld right here, a pinch weld right along through here, so I'll bring that out. Then I'll come down with a piece here and angle it out, spot weld them together, you know. Seam seal it all up, blah blah blah, same old thing. Well, there you go. If I get any farther, I'll get back with you today. Otherwise, this might be the end of the video. Who knows? Alright, there it is. This is the hole that was in the floor by the time I got it all cut out and all that. So I put that in. I've got it all 415 now, so that tomorrow when I come back I can, you know, maybe do work on it or seam seal it or move it along. I don't know yet. Anyhow, put this piece in like this. Then I made, it's kind of hard to see because it's black, a piece that goes like this, that goes straight in and dives into the top section of the rocker panel. Welded it all in. Then I welded this piece in right here with little, so we have a nice little pinch weld there. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. This nice little pinch weld right along here. Looks really a factory original-ish. Had this piece missing. This piece was all rotted out, and what it was like the outer rocker panel, the inner rocker panel, and then the inner fender well was pinch welded right there. Well, I got a piece of 1/8 inch steel. Just the width is just right and everything, and I jabbed it in between the layers and just welded it up on it all. I just kind of seam welded it all the way around it, and it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's as perfect as I'm going to get it. You know, it's got the little angle there. Of course, now it's black. It's hard to see, but anyhow, moving right along. Just about got her. We'll be back. I'll be back with you tomorrow night. It'll be in the same video. We'll check it out after it's all dried, and I don't know if we'll start doing some seam sealing from the front to the back, because and possibly not. I might go ahead and repair this hanger for the fender skirt bracket and the floor. That's probably the next problem I'll have to handle. And there we go. See ya. Alright, well, it's the next day, January something, early month, Monday night. Okay, close enough. Anyhow, got a couple holes here. Got one right there, and that's for trim, so I'm not worried about that. But this one here, in the trunk floor, that's not good. So look at this little bracket. This holds the fender skirt in, and of course it's supposed to be adjustable. You know, they adjust it once and that's it. And of course it's going to be froze up and all that. It's rusted through inside here, right here. That shouldn't be rusted through. So I've got to take this bracket off in order to fix the floor or to fix it right. So I think I'll cut it out there, cut it off of here, fix my holes, any kind of issues, so I know it's going to be bigger than it looks. That's how this deal is going, always is. I'll clean up and reuse this bracket, make me a new adjuster plate in the back here with welded nuts on it, and then make this bracket new too. So let me get it tore apart and get a plan going, and I'll talk to you in a few. Alright, here's what we got. This is our little bracket. Goes up in the floor just like that. There's the hole for the fender skirt, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to save that. It might be a little tough to make it. I think it'll be fine once I get it off there and clean it all up. But there's our hole. And here, well, go over here and this way. Okay, there's our hole. Now the bracket is supposed to go just like this. It attaches over here on this side. So what I did was I cut it clean off, and this is a good piece of steel right through here. So I trimmed it up, cleaned it all off. That I'll have a good like triple layer to spot weld to. But the thing I made sure I did before I cut this off was make a little plan of where that thing goes. I've got it measured out from the frame rail to this first bolt, from the bottom of the floor to this first bolt. Then I've got it measured from the back of the bumper bracket to the face of that bracket. There's 20 inches. So this is pretty adjustable, but I want to be able to, you know, get it in the ballpark anyhow. So what I'll do from the top side is make me a little piece to go right around the outside of this hole. This is good steel now. Cut out all the soft stuff, and go, you know, just go up that inner fender just a little bit. I'll spot weld it. Maybe I'll just seam seal it, I don't know, or seam weld it, or stitch weld it on the outside, you know. I'm having better luck with that on this kind of stuff than the spot weld, unless I just have to. It tends to burn through real easy with my chintzy welder. But anyhow, I'm going to make do with what I got. That's what's going to happen. But I'll form that really good. It'll get seam sealed from the bottom side and from this side really good. Then I'll make a new bracket. I'll drill holes in it in my new panel here. Spot weld my new bracket to it. Spot weld it to the rocker, and then bolt my bracket on. 415 it all up. We'll be done. Let me get some parts made and get back with you. Alright, one quick thing I want to show you. First, my hole was a little bit bigger by the time I got the seam sealer off of it. Had some pitted places. I want to get all that metal out. What I did was use some 2-inch tape, put across there, layered it good, and then got underneath the car and used my Sharpie so I know the size of my hole. Now, I'll take this little sticker template type thing and go to my sheet metal, stick it right on there. Now I want this to be even just a little bit bigger than the masking tape, so I'll cut around it and my patch will be ready to install. Alright, there's our patch. I'm getting a little better at this welding thing. I haven't even ground down any of that. Looks pretty good without even grinding that down, which I probably won't. But we'll seam seal that, 415 it, along with some other spots in the trunk. And if somebody was ever to see it, pull the carpet up, they'd say, man, look at that repair. It ain't even rusted yet. And it's 20 years ago he did that. Yeah, who knows. Anyhow, got the bracket made. Got the bracket installed. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and drill my holes up, but I figure, since I got good measurements, get the bracket this way in the right place, then all I got to do is drop down my numbers so I can find my slots. You know, this is all slotted anyhow, so it's going to be within the ballpark. It's 21 inches from the back of the bumper bracket. It's perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but dang sure close. Got spot welds, those 4 big spot welds in the middle of that patch. And that's 18 gauge steel and a piece of 1/8 inch steel right through here. So this all gets seam sealed and all that. I got a piece of 1/8 inch, taking it over here to the inner rocker panel, the wheelhouse and all that right there. And I'll tell you what, ain't nothing moving that. Now I could probably jack the car up with that. I don't know if I would, but you know, if I had to, I think I could. Anyhow, it's late. I got a mess to clean up. I got stuff everywhere. So I'm gonna shut this shop down and upload this video. And I'll show you all this when I get it all done in the next, the start of the very next video. I promise. This turned out pretty cool. It took me, I don't know, a couple, 2.5 hours to knock that hole out, get my bracket back on. So, on around. Our next little problem project is this right here. See that hole? This is sort of a channel, a trunk brace channel, and it bolts to the frame right here and goes all the way across. It's the same way, a little bit worse on the other side really. But this shouldn't be too bad to fix. It's just a U-channel type shaped thing, and you know, whatever I find on the inside, I think it's probably pretty solid inside this rocker. But you know, we'll reinforce that, patch that up at the same time. So anyhow, thanks everybody for watching and subscribing. I got some new subscribers. You know, I get like, I don't know, 20 or 30 views per video within a couple weeks after I put it up, and that's all. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's fun. It's really fun, but I'm documenting what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And little shout out to a little buddy of mine that's there on YouTube. He's got his first car as a 1962 Cadillac. I'd like to be able to remember your name, but I'm so bad with names. He's got a black one, and it's a really cool car. He's got her running good, and I guess he's got her stored up for the winter. I think he lives in Iowa or Idaho or one of them I-states out there, out west. So good looking job there, buddy. Just enjoy that car and have fun. Spread the word about Lulu here, and we'll all have some fun and learn something from me making mistakes. We'll see y'all later.